We are back for season 2 of Soul Sessions podcast. Come on, give us a round of applause, everybody. We are so happy to be back. We are so happy to be back. It's been some time. A lot has happened, a lot in the world, but happy Black History Month, everybody.
Yes, it's
happy,
a great day to be Black.
It is a great...
Even though it's the shortest month, we going to celebrate every day.
That's what I'm talking about. But every day is a great day to be Black.
It sure is.
I wouldn't one. I wouldn't want to be anything other than Black, to be honest.
Yeah, because I don't really be trying to. Never mind. No, I'm gonna say it. I really be sometimes be like, wow, I can't even imagine like what it would be like if I wasn't Black.
Like, I just feel like it wouldn't be the same.
It would not be the
right.
same.
It wouldn't be right.
So our conversation for this month, we are back, and we're gonna be back with some level of consistency. Everybody say consistency. Consistency. That's our word for the day. Consistent.
That's what I'm trying to work on.
We're going to try to be consistent. Right. We're going to try to be consistent. But nonetheless, we are just happy to be back. Before we begin with anything, let's have a word of prayer real quick. Most gracious and Heavenly Father, we thank you for a time to be here. We thank you for a time to have conversation. We thank you for a day in which we did not deserve. Now make this conversation helpful and beneficial to anybody who watches and listens. And God, now we also pray for the family of Tyree Nichols, who got laid to rest today in a national homegoing celebration. We pray that justice is served swiftly.
Yes, Lord.
And we pray that we continue to eradicate over-policing, police brutality, and all the things that keep us further enslaved in this country. We are free, but we are not all the way free. Yeah. But we know that with you, all things are possible. We know that justice is what you stand for. So we know that injustice is not even close to who you are. Yeah. So, God, we know that you are able and willing to do all things well. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. That's actually a good segue just to get started. 6 cops, a part of an underground police unit, beat up an unarmed Black guy, which it hasn't even been said what it was for, what it was about. It seemed to be a whole bunch of personal vendettas.
It looked like,
because they didn't say he had anything on him. He ran nothing. It was just a personal vendetta led out by an underground militant cop organization. That's what they were. They were militant cops. And that's the definition of over policing. When you have a task force built to just go around harassing Black people in their own neighborhood,
no other community.
That is the definition of over policing. And as my sister said, defund the police. We are still shouting that. We still believe that. Absolutely. And this case right here, I seen this on online, and I want to say, just because it was 6 or 5 Black officers does not take away Black Lives Matter movement at all.
Right, absolutely.
Black Lives Matter, whether it's Black on Black interactions, whether it's white on, whatever it is, Black lives still matter, no matter who the injustice at the hands of.
Yeah, right. Because once you put on that police uniform, you're now you take on the culture of the police, and policing is a racist institution, and whether you're Black, white, whatever your nationality is, ethnicity is, once you're ingrained in that culture, it doesn't matter. So
nope, it doesn't matter. And me and my sister had this conversation one day, and we laughed about it, but you couldn't pay me nothing to be a cop.
No.
There's no amount of money, and no disrespect to those who are police officers. I understand it is.
I'm not gonna lie, I applaud y'all for wanting to put your life on the line every day in that aspect, because it does get dangerous, and unfortunately there are that group of people that abuse the power that they have,
right, and making it dangerous for everybody.
Yeah, that's something that I just. For one, I'm not chasing after nobody.
No.
And for 2, it's just, that's a lot. But at the same time, it's those that are out there that just man, I didn't even watch the whole video. I
didn't watch any of it.
No, but I didn't even click the link.
It was just man, dude, y'all already had, y'all already had him on the ground.
Right.
Beat him to death 2 minutes away from his
behind
house.
his back,
and
cuffed already on the ground, and y'all continue to beat this man lifeless. Come on.
And I believe that the hammer needs to come down on the emergency medical services who sat there for 23 minutes, and I think it already has. But even further investigation needs to go into their practices, their training, whatever percent, 100%.
That was just.
It needs everybody from top to bottom, the police chief, the commissioner, everybody needs to have their day in court.
The video that came out after of them making fun of hollering, man, yeah, I hit him with 3.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
It's
Like
just
this was a fight. Like this was
Right.
a
Like a
fight
street-
on the
You have
it was
no
like a street
respect
fight,
for
right.
life and no respect for the people that you're supposed to be
You know what I
policing,
mean?
right.
Yeah. Like this was a high school fight or something like that. Like
Yeah.
y'all literally was
And a
making
per-
fun of this man
and a
he
personal
was dying.
vendetta at that over whatever. It was
Over exactly because the way he turned around and looked at old boy like
he knew
he knew whoever somebody
Yeah.
was in that group. I'm not saying that that's what happened, but he knew somebody out of those 6 people that beat him up. Well, that murdered him for one.
Right,
He
and
knew one of them.
I've been seeing like conspiracy theories going around, like that they knew him or whatever. But like, regardless of that, and I don't know if that's true or not.
me
But
either.
that's
Don't
just
quote
such
me.
an abuse of power. Like,
Right.
there was nothing in that situation that warranted
Whether you knew him or
these
not.
people, right? Just beating this man.
senseless.
Yeah,
was
they killed
crazy.
him, and it's just heartbreaking because we don't know what he did. I mean, they haven't said like, oh, you know, it was a traffic
stop. Yeah, they didn't say
violation. It wasn't
anything.
anything, and there's nothing that he could have done that would have warranted his death, like
that.
No.
at all. Period.
At all.
Like,
And there is nothing. And unless the person is has a gun in their hand and they're out and they're just spraying the room, in my eyes, there's nothing.
Absolutely.
right, and even if they're
There's
doing
nothing a
that,
person can
they're-
do that qualifies them to die at the hands of the police.
6 people.
6 officers.
I feel
And we
like-
need to really talk about how only the black officers' pictures
Pictures
being
are-
Right.
posted all
And
over
and there's
the
a 6
internet.
white officer.
You saw one of the white officers in the video.
Right.
And now he's just been removed quietly from duty, but I haven't seen any charges
Right.
be filed against him. Like,
Absolutely. Or any of the because when the EMTs finally did come into the video, the clip that I did watch,
they're
one of
just
them were
chopping
Caucasian
it
also.
Right.
they're just chopping it up with the officers, and
Yep.
this man is bleeding to death on
Literally.
the street. Like,
And the crazy thing is that if it's a white officer, the statement always is we will have further investigation, but they've been put on leave without
without
pay.
pay.
But when it was black officers,
They were
you've been
fired
fired. You've been
immediately.
fired
Immediately.
immediately.
But I'm not going to
Fired immediately and charged the same day.
I appreciate the police chief for actually doing what needed to be done in that situation.
Right.
yeah,
And I wish more police chiefs around the world reacted the same way in those positions. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like because I'm not gonna speak for her, but from my in my opinion, it probably was like she probably had an obligation to because she is a woman of color. Like she said in her statement, she's a woman of color. She is a mother, and I feel like in that situation, it was like, man, they're gonna be looking at me. So in order to kind of stop the backlash from coming on to me, I have to do something in this moment.
Right.
and I hate that like this situation. They're trying to make this like the poster for police brutality.
Right.
Oh, you
And,
already
like,
know how I was about to. Yeah.
that's
Trivializing it and
yeah.
politicizing it.
Yeah.
That's like very upsetting to me because this is not a new story. Like this, Tyree Nichols is the latest of people who were
This is
killed
not
by
a
the
news.
police.
This story has been out, and that's what's aggravating me a little bit. Is that because the video just dropped, they want to make it like it's a new, fresh story. No, this story has been going on since I think December, if I'm not mistaken. But it wasn't as publicized until the video came out because the mother wanted the video to come out. So now you have all those people that are like, "Oh, this is so bad," but this is happening every day,
Right.
in black communities all over the world, like not just down south. It's happening up here too. Like it's happening everywhere around the world, and it's not just black cops or just white cops. It's all cops against people, putting those special militant forces or putting certain officers that they know are aggressors and things like that in the black community to try to control them, and then something like this happens.
Right. And we'll talk further about this next week because I do want to have somebody on who actually is in the justice system and can have some further. I want somebody here to have this even conversation further because I feel like the black church, even though I feel like on a national scale we see all the famous black pastors, your Jamal Bryants and your Al Sharptons and your Jesse Jackson. No offense to them, but a lot of the interactions between the police and the community can be changed with the help of the local churches.
Yeah.
But it has to be an intentional thing. Like we can't just do it every time something happens.
Yeah.
Because then it's
It
not.
has to be ongoing.
It has to be an ongoing because we've seen that clear in the civil rights time with Martin Luther King. The black church has more power than they think they do, And when the black church tap into that power to change policies and change politics, when we do more than just show up on Sundays,
Absolutely.
we become more effective.
Right.
If all we doing is hooping and hollering, singing, and doing all the church theatrics on Sunday,
Exactly.
but we ain't pastoring Monday through Saturday, then we're failing our communities.
The church should be a place for people to organize,
Right.
and for their concerns to be heard, and for collaboration to occur, so that our issues could really be brought to the forefront of
Right.
you
Right.
know,
And
our community.
yeah, and black churches shouldn't even fight against police brutality, gentrification, food deserts, all these things that are happening. You can't build your church in places and then not be involved.
Not have
in it.
no involvement.
Present
Yeah,
in
and
there.
not have
And
no
not be
involvement.
present.
You just
Yeah.
there.
Right, because then
But not doing anything.
because then you're no better than the politician who sweeps
Absolutely.
through during election time to gain
He
votes.
only coming to visit because he need votes.
Right, when we only here on Sunday, and that's and we
You
in
know
the
what I
same
mean?
spot. We only here on
put your foot in his shoe.
right. So again, we are in continual prayer for Tyree Nichols, the city of Memphis, our country, the black community as a whole, and whether it's police brutality that's happening, or whether it's, like I said, food desert gentrification, conversations like this will continuously happen because we need to be brought to the forefront. Jesus Christ was a protester. He didn't stand for the status quo.
Yeah.
If something was socially and morally wrong, he stood up for it. Yeah. And that's what I believe the church is for, and that's why we do soul sessions. Even though we're having this informal conversation, somebody could be watching and be inspired, and then later on we will get involved like that.
Yeah.
But again, we are continuously praying for all those who are affected by these injustices, and we will keep fighting until there's justice for all, literally. Plain and simple. No other way to put it. Justice for all or justice for none, because that's what it is at this point. But a segue, because this is actually really good for our conversation, we are talking about the newest Netflix movie, You People, which has some of our favorite black actresses and actors in it.
Favorite actors.
Eddie Murphy, Nia
Never
Long,
seen Norbit. Please go watch it. That's
Lauren
my
London.
favorite. Norbit is my favorite movie. What? Norbit, we not about to get into it because I'll really argue
Norbit,
with
did you move my seat?
Don't start, because I'll go
Norbit, did you move my
all
seat?
day. He said, no, she didn't move your seat. I was like, yeah, it's been raining outside. No, bro.
No.
Norbit is hands down one of my favorite Eddie Murphy
I
movies.
feel like we
it's
seen
one of his silliest ones, man.
Nope, I'm gonna give him Dunk. I'm gonna give him Shrek. Shrek.
Yes.
When
Shrek
they hold on,
too.
when they sitting at the dinner table and they talk about Shrek's house, and he says, "Yeah, Shrek's like, yeah, I got a little nice little land. I got a nice little land with little animals." And Dougie says, "I know you ain't talking about that swamp.
Yes.
I know you ain't talking about that nasty swamp you live in."
Shrek is Eddie Murphy is hands down one of my favorite actors. Oh my God, I love that guy. Boomerang.
Oh yeah.
Coming to America.
Coming to America.
Life. Like, oh my goodness, I love that guy.
1,000 Words with him and Yara Shahidi.
Yes.
Cute movie.
What's the one with?
No. Imagine that with Yara
Imagine that.
Shahidi.
Yeah.
1,000 Words is with Kerry
Washington.
Kerry Washington.
Yes. Oh my.
You never seen
goodness.
1,000?
Dolomite.
Imagine that.
Imagine. Oh, Dolomite.
Dolomite. I'm about to go home and watch that tonight, yo. Eddie, you never
Nutty
seen
Professor.
1,000
You
Words?
can't forget about the Nutty Professor. Oh my God.
Like, stop playing, buddy. Love that. I love Eddie Murphy, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm so excited we talking about this. If y'all can't tell.
But clap it up for all those black actors.
Okay, first of all,
Clap it up. We are so happy to see them on the screen, especially Nia Long.
I love Nia Long,
Nia Long.
especially and Lauren London,
And Lauren London.
but especially Nia. I love me some Nia Long. I love Nia Long. The first time I saw a Nia Long movie was I watched, what was it? Probably The Best Man. And then I went back and watched Love Jones. Me and my sister, we watched The Best Man. And I was like, oh my God, she's so pretty.
Yeah, she really is.
When I was
Her new movie, Missing, is fantastic.
I didn't watch it yet. I want to see it. I didn't watch it
literally
yet.
so good.
And shout out to my girl Carisha, please, because she was in that movie too.
Carisha,
City Girls is up right now.
Oh, Mike Epps played the uncle.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Kim Whitley.
Anthony Hamilton played.
Hamilton.
No, Anthony Hamilton. Oh my God, Anthony. Oh my gosh, from Blackish.
Oh, Anthony Anderson.
Anderson.
Yeah, it was a lot of
Yes, he played the barber. Remember when he walked in?
It was a lot of. He was like, "Who is White Cuz?" Yeah.
Who's White Cuz?
He's like, "What
I'm not-
cuz?"
I'm
He's
not
like,
White
"I'm
Cuz."
White Cuz." Yeah. Jonah Hill.
Jonah
Hangover
Hill.
was great. I'm sorry. This was a good movie, guys, because
Yeah.
we excited.
Yeah, You
that was
People
a
was
good
a
movie.
solid movie.
Yeah.
Solid
It
film.
definitely was a solid movie.
And the reason we talking about it is because again, it's Black History Month, but also the intersection of that movie just talked about the intersection of faith, um, intersection of race, intersection of politics, everything. And let me ask you this question, right? Or I'll ask you this guy's question: can white people ever understand, not to the point of shared experience, but can understand how badly black people have been treated in America?
No. I don't think they'll ever understand, because understanding sometimes has to come with experience. So I don't think they'll be able to fully understand. Do I think they'll be able to comprehend? Yes, comprehension and understanding are two different things. So I do believe that they'll be able to comprehend, meaning by they can get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, well, this is what happened. They can empathize with it. You know what I mean? But I don't think they'll be able to understand, because they'll never understand the amount of pain and suffering and ridicule and aggression that our ancestors, and even today, that some of us go through. That, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
They'll never be able to fully understand what it is to be black, or what it takes to be black on a day-to-day basis. Can they empathize? Absolutely. Can they comprehend? Absolutely. But they'll never understand, because they're not black. I don't. Yeah, it'll never work.
And I kind of feel the exact opposite. I feel like
Really,
this
is getting good.
I feel like white people have full knowledge.
Yes.
No, a full comprehension, a full understanding of like black plight, but it's convenient for them.
Right.
They know it because who knows who hurt you? You, who has experienced the hurt, and the person who has hurt you. You both know it equally, right? So you know it equally. But if my position as someone who has hurt you is still favored by you staying in that wounded position, why would I do anything to change it? So I feel like white people, the systems of oppression, they all understand, they know, they continuously inflict those wounds and apply pressure to the wounds that have already been created, and they know. And even when you have conversations with the white people in your life who feign ignorance, you can't feign ignorance to something that is clear out in the open and that's discussed in such a voluminous way. You can't feign ignorance. There's no way to escape the truth of what this reality is.
I agree to an extent with that, because I feel like understanding comes with the saying that if you know better, you do better. So if you understand, this is what I mean, like my definition of understanding is that if you understand, and not saying sometimes people can't get out of their ways, I'm not saying that it's for everybody, but most of the time once you know better about a situation or you understand a situation, you do better.
Yeah, but what benefit, and you always, we talk about allyship and all of this, what benefit does a white person or white systems of oppression, what benefit do they get by laying down their privilege, by acknowledging the struggle of black people and doing something to change that? What benefit do they get?
That's true. That's true.
You know better, you do better. I really feel like it can't apply here, because of course they know better.
And honestly,
of course they know better. They want better for themselves.
Right. And honestly, that is why things like the critical race theory conversation is happening in Florida and Texas. That is why AP classes are no longer doing Black history, because as she said,
schools really
there's
do
no
Black
benefit
history.
to lay down my privilege.
Right.
But then also there is no consequence for overlooking the plight of black people.
Right.
That's true.
So a governor in Florida and a governor in Texas can sit there and say black people, our children don't need to know about the plight of black people, and they can do it without consequence.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
And also there is like a great need, I feel like, for again these systems to keep this information from black people ourselves.
Yeah.
Because once we have a full understanding of even everything that we've gone through as a community, a full understanding of our strength and our abilities, all of this is over. Like it's
Right.
all of
Nah,
this is over.
that's a fact. So, for example, like today, so I'm not gonna put the school that I work in out there, but the school that I work in, they do not. I'm not gonna say all the teachers because I don't want to speak for the whole school system or the whole district, but they do not teach Black history as much as they taught it when I was in school. So one of the kids came in today and he was like, "Oh, I was like, oh, happy Black History Month, y'all! Like February 1st, like every day we gonna learn something new." Da 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 da. I'm getting them excited for it. And the one guy, the one kid, he was like a Black kid. He was like, "Oh, I have this guy in my this kid in my class. He said he don't like Black History Day." I said, "Well, that's okay." I said, and I asked him. I said, "Well, can I ask you, is he Black?" I said, "Or is he Caucasian?" He was like, "He's Caucasian." Da, da, da. I said, "Well, that's okay." I said, "There are many people in this world who do not like Black History Day." I said, "But it's up to you to be able to teach him the importance of it." I said, "It doesn't have to be that he has to like it. He doesn't have to like it. He doesn't have to celebrate Black History Month every month or when it comes around or every day when it comes around." I said, "But it's up to you to learn as much as you can so that you can inform the people that even though they don't like it, you can inform them on the importance of it, on why it's important to you." And just letting him know that just because somebody else may not like what you do or somebody else may not like a holiday that you celebrate does not mean that you should stop sharing the knowledge of it. And that's one thing that I do not like about the school system and how they are trying to take Black history out of the school system as a whole, because it's not about whether y'all like it or not. It's about spreading the knowledge of why it is important. Black people helped build this country.
Right.
Period. Point
Black
blank.
history is American history.
Right.
Exactly. Black history is American history. I don't care what way you look at it. Whether you look at it in a bad aspect or in a good aspect. Black people were a part of America and what it is today. So it's important to allow children to know that. Now, whether you like it or not, you might not like to teach about it. You might not like to celebrate it. That's okay. Not everybody like to celebrate Christmas. Not everybody like to celebrate Easter. Not everybody like to celebrate Mother's Day or New Year's, things like that. But we make sure we teach our kids about it. We make sure we have parties in school about it. But when it comes to Black History Month, it gets so quiet in the school systems.
Right.
There's rarely anything. Like last year, I asked my nephews. They are going to high school next year, but they in middle school. I was like, "Yo, did y'all teacher even teach y'all about like Black history at all this month?" And they was like, "Oh yeah, we know about Black history." I said, "I'm not talking about like Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth. I'm like Barack Obama. I'm like, y'all learn about them on the regular. Like those are regular people you learn about." I said, "Did they teach you anything about Black history or why you celebrate Black history? Why was Black History Month created? Anything?" "Oh nah." I said, "Nah." Now, mind you, they're in 8th grade, getting ready to go to
Right.
9th grade. Nah. What do you
And
mean?
also keep in mind, it's a curriculum built by non-persons of color.
Absolutely. But they make sure that in the curriculum that you talk about Christmas. Everybody don't celebrate Christmas. Everybody don't believe in Santa Claus. Everybody doesn't believe in, not me, y'all. I believe in the coming of Jesus Christ. But everybody doesn't believe in that. But they make sure they teach that in school, or they make sure they teach about Easter, or they make sure they teach about the Chinese New Year. They teach about all these other days.
Right.
They celebrate women's history and all these other days. But when it comes to Black history, and I'm saying this because I do work in the school system, I see when it comes to Black history, it's rarely any word spread.
Right.
It's never any.
And I went
everybody else history. They make sure they include them. Indigenous People Day.
Oh, yeah.
All that's like, and I'm not saying that's anything wrong with that, because yes, absolutely educate the kids on that things. But why, when it comes to Black history, does everybody get so quiet?
Yeah, I went to a private school and like at St. Joe's here in Buffalo, and me and my other Black friends. Okay, I'll be honest. In my graduating class, there was only 13 Black kids, so we were like an isolated group. So shout out to this woman. Her name is Miss Golden, and I always tell the story. She gave us a space to be Black. So her room, she wasn't a subject teacher. She was a academic enrichment coordinator. So she helped students who are having trouble, with learning, whatever. She helped them.
Right.
And we literally used her room as a hangout during lunch, during after school. And to this day, every time we see her, we call her Mama Golden because she took care of us. She never made us feel bad for being Black in these white spaces. She never made us feel as though that we had to taper ourselves to how we were, which is a conversation we were given when we went to the school. We were told, don't you go in there and act crazy in front of these white people.
Come on.
Don't you go in there and embarrass in front of these white people.
Come
But when we
on.
got there, she told us, you're here because you're here because you're you. So don't come in here trying to be them because it's never going to work for you.
Never.
She said, truthfully, they're never going to accept you. They're never gonna like you like that because of your skin color. It's a
brutal truth.
It's a brutal truth.
Honest.
And we created this club. We called it the Black Club, but it was the Diversity and Inclusion Club. And once a year,
you said it right. That's crazy.
But
you said it right.
it was really. But everybody around the school was like, "That's the Black Club." Because it was just black kids, and we went on a field trip every year to a diversity conference at other private schools with other kids
that's what's up.
with their black clubs.
Shout out to your school.
And every year we would sit there talk about our issues, whatever. But it was a space for us to be black. We took that one day out the school year. We met at Nichols. We met at Park, different private schools, and all the black kids from the school came together and they just discussed what it was like. And something we kept saying was these teachers, these advisors, no matter how close and great they are to us, they'll never understand what it's like to walk into this school every day and get feared that someone's going to treat us based on what we look like.
Because of the color of your skin?
Because we're not welcome here, though we're accepted here and we pay our money like everybody else do.
You know what's crazy? That's why I switched from private school.
Really?
To public school. So I went to South Buffalo Charter School from elementary school, and that was the first time I ever had a black principal. I had a black principal while I was there, 2 black principals actually. Mm-hmm. But when I was going into high school, my mom was like, "You go whatever school you want." I had good grades, and I'm like, "Oh well." At that time, I'm like, "I don't want to go to Lackawanna High School." Like, yeah, all my friends go there, but I knew that I was way smarter than what Lackawanna High School was able to offer me. And don't get me wrong, shout out to LHS because that's where I graduated from. And my dogs, LA all day. But anyways, going into school, I was like, okay, well, I want to try something different. Let's see where I can go. So I applied to a lot of schools. So I ended up getting accepted into Mount Mercy Academy. So I'm like, okay. My mom was like, "Are you sure this is where you want to go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, they got a lot of things they can offer me." And at that time, the basketball coach there had wanted me to come play there. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, they got a lot of stuff that they can offer me as far as what I want to do going forward with college and things like that. I'm like, not saying that Lackawanna couldn't do it, but I knew from my sisters going to that school and how much potential, my mom went to that school, my dad, how much potential they had that I shouldn't just limit myself to just this just because this is where I live at. Mm-hmm. So I went whole summer. I did summer school, math tutoring, practicing, all types of stuff, conditioning, da-da-da-da. First week of school.
That freshman work study program, too? All
of that. I got the uniform, the socks, like, everything. Like, my mom, we was paying up. Like, I got a scholarship, but we had to pay the rest out of pocket. Like, Catholic private school is not cheap. Let me tell y'all that.
Even worse now. Like,
it's even
20 grand.
If you went to St. Francis, we ain't even gonna talk about the angels, but back then it was expensive. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm first week of school, right? Boom. I'm just like, and it was cool because a few of the girls that I had went to elementary school with, they was there, and I'm like, all right, boom. I walk in. I kind of already knew I was gonna be the only black person there. Like in the middle of South Buffalo. You know what I mean? But it was a few black kids there, but it was just like, all right, let me just see. It's first week. I ain't gonna really judge it yet, but I was not feeling it. Like, I was just like, this ain't it. Like, I don't know if I can do 4 years of this. My mom was like, well, just see, don't try to turn it down yet. But I'm like, I know. Like, I can just tell. Like, this is not gonna be good for me. Like, everywhere I went, it was like I was the token black girl. Like, everybody was staring at me. I always felt like it was always eyes on me. Like, I could never just be just me, like just Tori without it being color or anything like that. It was just like, oh, that's the black girl that's here on scholarship and she plays for the basketball team. Don't you play for the basketball team? Da da da. And it was like, dang, basketball season ain't even start yet. Like, what y'all? How you figure? How you figure? You feel me? So I'm just like,
because your access was only dependent on your physical abilities.
Exactly, and but not that I got in here academically because I'm very intelligent. Like, I'm really smart. Like,
but
I might
in their
play
mind,
dumb all day or laugh and joke, but when it come down to the books, I'm really smart. You know what I mean? So it's like, wow. So about 2 weeks, I did like about 2 weeks there. Third week, I said, Mom, I can't do it no more. She was like, what do you mean? We done paid all that money for the school. You gonna go to this school? But I'm like, no. I'm like, I can really feel myself. Like, if I would have stayed at that school, I probably would see myself like in a deep, dark space. Yeah. Like, it would not have worked out because it really was just like, yeah, it's a few other black kids here, and I know they probably go through the same thing. But at the end of the day, so the charter school that I went to, it was inclusion. So I was able to have other black students, like my sisters and them went there, my cousins and them went there. So
Right.
I was around other black students, and was a few black teachers in there. Not too many, but it was a few black teachers in there, and they made sure they included us. We had a whole drill team at my elementary school, dance team, like all that. So they made sure that we felt a part of the school. It wasn't just this is who we are. They made sure we felt a part. But when I got there, it was just like, and not to speak bad about that school, because I did academically, like I loved that school. Like it really would have been a great fit for me had it been better. But I was just like, nah, I can't. Like these are not my people.
Right.
And I felt that, like, at 13 years old, like, I wasn't able to articulate that these are not my people, but I felt that, like, I knew that I could not walk around these hallways for 4 years with people just staring at me.
Right.
Or just not even trying to get to know me, like, oh, this is da-da-da-da from, and this is what she, like, that's
and
not
I feel
who
like
I am.
a lot of those microaggressions that we experience in white spaces hinder a lot of us from succeeding in those spaces. And we have to make really tough choices about, like, oh, do I let go of this great opportunity or do I go somewhere where I'm celebrated rather than just, okay, here's that girl on scholarship or, know, she really doesn't belong here, so we're going to treat her like she really doesn't belong.
And that's what it felt like,
But and for me, and again, I'm tooting the horn of St. Joe's because there were times where white kids, said nigga and all that stuff, and those kids were expelled immediately. Yeah, we said nigga on this podcast. It's okay.
Nah, I'm talking about
But they were like expelled immediately. There was no like, and if us as black people reacted to that poorly, we were just told that was a proper response to an offense. That person should have said that. Like if it wasn't for, and again, it was the students who kind of made it a little weird.
See, that's
the faculty made sure it didn't feel like that, and I thank God that I had that faculty when I was there.
Yeah.
Because
it did not.
That's not usually how it is.
And it was both for me. I ain't gonna lie. Like it was both for me.
And we got some St. Joe's alumni who go to our church. Matthew Beckton, Kevin Camp. Those are the two people who probably talked me into it the most, because Kevin alone talked me into it, because I was like, I don't know, dog. Like this is weird. And he was like, no, you be straight. You like I promise you, it's not what you think it's gonna be. The students, yeah, but the faculty, they were very hands-on with making sure it was a very inclusive space.
So you know what I mean? I went to where my people was at, big LA. You feel me? Went to where my people was at, and I graduated with my advanced regions. I still was academically, but it felt so much better just being around people that understood me. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. Was there white people there that probably felt the same way? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But because I was surrounded by more of my people, it was easier to deal with. Yeah.
That's a good segue to continue talking about you people.
Yeah. What do you mean by you people?
Yeah, from my people to
and I don't
you
wanna,
people.
And they people probably feel like,
right.
They probably say that about us too. Like, these are my people. But it's just like when you around, and that could be your people could be whoever, whether it's black people, white people, like just the people that you feel comfortable around.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just you're able to freely be yourself without any restrictions. That's hard to come by.
And I just feel like being black doesn't have to be violent towards other communities.
Absolutely
Okay,
not.
That's
no.
what I'm saying.
Absolutely
I feel like
not.
every group of people want to say, like, these are my people, this is my tribe, like, and that's a great feeling.
Absolutely.
Everyone should have that. But some cultures require for them to have their people that they're being violent towards.
Don't sugarcoat it. Don't say some cultures.
Well,
have the conversation.
Well,
have the dialogue.
I mean, if you want me to say it,
if you gonna say it, say it.
Because I just don't mean white people.
It's not
Right.
It's not just them.
I mean, it does trickle down from the same oppressive systems. Like, other cultures adapt a white mentality because it's easier for them to assimilate into white society, which is allegedly their goal. So I just feel like being black, though, we can invite anyone in. And
Anybody.
and
I
we
got all
often-
types of friends.
And-
we
dog.
do. And we a lot of times make the mistake of wanting to include everyone and wanting to be like cordial with everyone.
Ooh.
What?
So no, I want you to finish because that was a segue into my No, I want you to finish your statement.
ahead, go
Okay.
ahead.
So, in case y'all didn't watch You People, we don't want to spoil it, but we are going to spoil it. So,
Spoiler alert.
so log off right now if you have not seen it.
Watch it.
Watch it and then
And then
come
come
back.
back.
But if you have seen it, continue. So as you said, we have the danger of letting people in too freely, right? And then sometimes there are some of us who are like, nobody can come in. Do you feel like Eddie Murphy had that nobody can come in kind of thing?
Yeah.
Because Jonah
In the
Hill
movie, though. In the movie.
Akbar
Don't
Muhammad.
him in real life.
First of all, Mike Epps said, your mama named you
You
Woody.
Woody.
So I'm going to call you Woody.
In the words of Lauren London, he heard Power to the People one time and he became a nation of Islam.
Yeah. Mama named you Woody. I'm going to call you Woody.
So
I mean, I do feel like
because
that.
Jonah Hill was the white guy who
He was cool with everybody.
who loved
the culture.
the culture.
Right.
And I
Who
think
loved black people.
I think we're not saying the culture. It's called black culture.
culture.
Yeah,
Black
culture.
culture. Because remember in the movie, he was talking to the girl and he was like, yeah, I got a podcast. And she's like, on what? He's like, the
The
culture.
culture.
And she said,
Black.
What
The
you mean?
culture is black
so
culture.
what do you know about the culture? You're from a white guy from Beverly Hills, and which is true. Like,
Right.
what would a Jewish man from the Beverly Hills know about the culture?
Right.
So
True.
for Eddie Murphy, he was like, this dude's a fraud. This dude is not who my daughter should be with.
But he
never gave him a shot.
chance.
He
That's
never
the
gave him a
thing,
shot.
like,
But
don't. Okay, go ahead.
But what
No, that's
I'm gonna say is that's the point. Like Eddie Murphy never giving him a shot was his point.
Right.
Right.
Like this man, I can see that, he loves black culture, but to what end?
Mhm.
Like you are co-opting it for your own personal benefit. So let's call it what it is.
Right.
Like you have a podcast that eventually is going to become a profitable podcast, and it's about black culture. And you are a white Jewish man from Beverly Hills.
Like,
What gives you the
Right.
right to profit off of even
Us.
talking
Right.
about our culture,
But
right? But what Eddie Murphy, what he's doing, his like perspective as this black militant man is that I don't care who you are as a person.
Mhm.
What you stand for is imperialism. What you stand for is colonization. What you stand for, it doesn't matter who you are as an individual. What you stand for is something that I already don't engage with.
Sure.
Right.
But I think,
Wait.
but
Hold
but,
on. Let me go. Let me go.
wait,
I have
no.
my hand up.
All right. Go ahead.
But I agree. I agree with that. But to an extent, you have to learn how to separate, especially when it comes to marriage and somebody marrying your daughter.
But my
Let's
question
wait.
is why?
Wait.
Why?
You don't. But at the same time, he never tried to get to know him for him.
Right.
He never listen, even with having all of that in the back of your head, even with thinking all of that. I'm not saying you got to change your perspective because this is who your daughter loves. Absolutely
Right.
not. But give him a chance to get to know him. He didn't even let him get no words out half the time. He was answering the questions for him or just telling him who he was.
Right.
And yes, the whole movie, he was like, yes, I'm all of the things. I know who I am, but I appreciate what you guys bring to the table. If he would have let him open up his mouth and say that instead of answering for him and instead of telling him what he was, even though he already knew, I feel like it could have been way better. It could have been way their dynamic could have
And
been
I
way better
feel-
than what it was at first.
I feel like that point of view is something that's hindering us as black people as a community. That we have to understand and accept other people. And
Absolutely not.
I just feel like, just because
When it comes to somebody marrying your kid, come on now.
no, I just don't. I don't agree because my thing is, if I am, this Afrocentric black militant person, and I already understand the concept of this white man and who he is,
I got a
and
question
he's
for you when you're done.
he's a culture vulture, right? Why do I have to open up just because my daughter wants to be with him?
But do you think as a parent, and which I mean, none of us could really speak for, because none of
Right.
us are parents, but I just feel like as a parent, there are certain I'll talk from this standpoint. As somebody, if I was in his shoes, right? If I was his daughter and I had met a white man who loved who loved black culture and, kind of thrived off it, but knew who he was. He knew who he was.
Yeah.
He said the whole movie, he knew who he was. You know what I'm saying? But he loved the black culture. Like it is what it is.
He went to
right?
the Jewish temple on
He went to the Jewish temple on
like,
Saturdays. Like he knew who he was. He knew his parents were semi-racist. Like they were a-holes. Like he knew that. So he knew who his people were, but he loved the black culture, right? So me as a girlfriend or a fiance, right? I am, regardless of how I know my family is or how my father is, even if he is this strong, militant, Afrocentric, loves the black culture, only wants his kid with black people, I would never bring my father anybody that I know that he would not accept. Regardless, and I'm not talking about based on the outer, or I would never put somebody in the position to be around my family that I know they didn't treat me how I was supposed to be treated. So that's what I'm saying. Like as a parent, like, do you think that your kid would bring somebody around that you didn't approve of, or that they didn't see something in, regardless of what the outside was?
And that's the point that Jonah Hill made in his speech to him. He
Yeah.
said, "You may not like who I am. You might like that I'm white. You may not like any of this. But the grand scheme of this whole thing,
I love your
I'm in
daughter.
love with your daughter."
Right.
So we can, and also I said this to my sister before the show.
And that was some respect.
Right.
Feel me?
There was no
Like,
point of this movie where I said this was worth calling a wedding off for.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
None of
absolutely
this.
If
not.
I was them, I would have been more resolved.
My family wouldn't even buy. Y'all gotta be
Now
here.
now they also, they did get married at the end of the movie. I mean, they did get married. It wasn't happily ever after.
I don't care, because the wedding is for y'all anyways.
Right.
I'm paying so y'all can eat,
Yeah.
and y'all can look good, and y'all can have fun. I'm gonna have fun too.
But that right
I'm
there
paying
is
for
a wedding
y'all.
of my dreams.
Sneaker wedding.
Sweatpants, sneakers.
Man, take me to the courthouse. I ain't gonna lie. We in the reception.
Man,
That's
let
what
me
I want.
tell you
I'm
something.
not gonna lie. When I get married, I don't even know if I want the whole big wedding thing. I want the reception. Give me the party. I want the party. Give me the reception. I just want to. We go to the courthouse, get married. Give me the party. As long as everybody around me have a good time afterwards. That's all.
Everybody wearing sneakers to my wedding.
Yes.
I
Yes.
just want like a really elaborate
We know.
sort of a little ceremony.
Mine can be elaborate, but
You want Paris in springtime, like
No.
the movie.
I'm
Yeah.
cool with elaborate as long as I can wear whatever I want to.
Nah, you bugged
Nah,
out.
it's
I'm not wearing no
like
sweatpants to my wedding.
Flower
What?
arches.
You can
and
get
like,
dressed now.
Yeah.
You not sweat. No, you bugged out.
Nike
Color
makes some very
coordinated.
nice.
They do, but nah.
Wear a nice Nike cardigan with some sweat.
You gonna get dressed, but I don't really care for like the whole ceremony type, because
I
that
love
only be
it.
like 10 minutes.
I love it. I gotta
They
have.
spend
this-
almost $1,000, $2,000 something dollars, or how much ever for 10 minutes. No, take me to the party. What's up? Like,
Right,
but
right.
It could be both.
Right, I feel you on that.
both.
It can be both.
it could be both.
But-
My girl want both. So
but
whoever.
but overall,
my
right?
girl, she want both.
So I'm a segue into this. So
No, but I think we need to bring it
We need
right
to bring it
back.
back. Bring it
to the fact that Eddie Murphy in the movie, his character was spot on the whole
No,
time.
he was judgmental.
no. His politics was spot on.
But him as a person, he was judgmental. Because just like Mike Epps said, I remember when you used to do this. You used to do that.
Right.
First of all, they're young.
Yeah, but it's
no.
just like-
No. He was. I love Eddie Murphy. Don't get me wrong. His politics and how the white people were oppressors. Are oppressors. I'm not gonna say were.
That was right.
spot on. That was
spot on.
absolutely
And
right.
Culture vultures.
But
I think what his daughter.
as a person, he was a complete jackrabbit. Because
I think what his daughter was looking for. We can talk about this politics stuff all the time. We brought you to our house for the intention
right.
for us to come together and say we'll be family. So
Exactly.
families can be beautiful families and have different views of point of
time.
views.
All the time.
So that's why I said there was no point in this movie where I said this was worth throwing away my wedding for.
But
And I'm not saying
sometimes-
I would act as Eddie Murphy did, but I feel like for the character that he was portraying, I don't even think that he was as big of an ass as he could have been.
No.
Like,
No, it could have
And I
been
don't even
worse.
Could have been worse.
and I don't
yeah.
even think that he was being judgmental. I just think
No, he was
that
being judgmental.
no,
he
but-
was.
No, but think about this. Was
He
he
thought he
being
was gonna take my boy to the court and thought he was gonna get cooked.
but
You see
was
my boy was
he
out
being
there.
judgmental, or was he living in his principles? Like
No.
was he living
He
in
wasn't living in his
them?
principle, because remember the part when him and Mike Epps was in the car and he told him, "Remember all the wild stuff you did?"
Yeah,
Like,
but that's more.
What did he say? He watched one ceremony and just decide. And sometimes all it takes is one message to change your life. That's very true.
Right.
I'm not gonna say that, but
you can't grow into your principles. Like Eddie Murphy is a grown man, a father of two, and he's watching his daughter engage with someone that he, based on his morals and values and principles, doesn't believe is right for his daughter, based off of a history of cultural relationships, right? So how is it that he's not living in his principles?
But it's fine living. It's fine living in your principles. But then he took it a step further when he was doing things to knowingly embarrass and sabotage him.
You brought him to a
You
crib.
took him to a barbershop with a red. The man had a red hoodie on, and everybody said, "What's wrong with your?"
That was comedic relief.
Nah,
for the movie.
For the movie,
No.
No. But the intentions were still the same. You took
turning the air conditioner on high in the car.
Exactly.
Knew he's about to get cold.
You took him somewhere where you knew that what he had on was not appreciated. It was
going to be problematic.
You took him to the basketball court with black people that know how to ball, that come out here 24/7, and you thought he was going to get cooked, bro.
And then he ended up doing the cooking.
You took him to Vegas knowing that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and he couldn't even have fun. Right? You went on his bachelor party, bro.
Those few things, comedic relief for the movies. But I'm not going to sit here and cape for Jonah Hill. I'm not.
No, we're not. We're not capable. We're not debating the fact that he's white. We're not debating that
it doesn't matter that he's white. I just don't think, besides the few things that Eddie Murphy tried to do to embarrass him or assert himself, like in that Bachelor.
But the mother too, though. Her too. She's at it wrong too. His mom. No. His mom.
Well, I'm gonna be on board with talking about her.
She was wrong.
She was way out of line.
And that's the point we're getting at. They both were out of line because they did not understand. And the fact that they finally he finally realized that both of them, no matter how much they think about this person and what color they are or what culture they come from or how they were raised, you cannot stop. Honestly, you can't stop love. You can't stop who somebody loves.
Right.
But
either deal with it or get out the way.
No, but that's I think that's the deeper meaning of the
movie.
The movie, yeah. But that's originally what I told you is the problem, right? Like, I don't really think that it's beneficial to spend our time deep diving to see if we like every individual as a person.
But we don't have to. But he knew. Listen. He knew. No, listen. As a woman, let me ask you this. As a woman, right? And I know how close you and your dad are, right? Regardless of whatever color the person is that you decide you want to be with, that you decide you want to marry, are you going to bring them home to your father if you feel like that they are not the person for you? Regardless of what he has to say about them.
Hold on. Pause.
No, let her answer first.
I want to get. Hold on. I want to give a segue.
No, let her answer that.
Hold on. I want to give not a segue. I want to give a little disclaimer because we have the same father, right? He ain't Eddie Murphy.
Right. He's peace and love.
I've known Troy Bronner is my daddy. Hold on. Is my daddy. I've seen him stomach a lot.
Yeah. Right.
A lot.
And that's what I'm saying.
Hold
Why
on.
couldn't Eddie Murphy do that?
He ain't Eddie Murphy.
It's not his value.
That's not his value.
No, and that's my entire point. The type of person that they wanted us to believe Eddie Murphy was, which is a militant black man. It doesn't make sense for him to be welcoming and open.
I didn't say you had to welcome him, but my boy, how he did.
Yeah, but it wouldn't make, if he was just like, let me give this guy a shot, it wouldn't make sense for the movie.
Right, but also
it would have. By the time they got to
Vegas,
he would have been like, oh nah, bro, nah.
I think the biggest thing was that Eddie Murphy was principle over. He wanted to
because in real life, even if the daughter did marry this man because she loved him, and her father was truly a black militant man, no amount of kumbaya would have.
She wouldn't even have brought him home.
No, right. I mean, she would have probably. I mean, I hope that
I would have just got married and said,
right, exactly. I hope if you love someone, you still go through with it, even though your family doesn't support it. But the truth is, if Eddie Murphy was truly
That's
the
another
man
thing.
that he was he was portraying, none of this would have happened.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm saying so.
Right.
Like
We gotta have it.
That's what I'm saying.
And yeah,
That's what I'm
gotta have a
saying.
happy ending, right? But
But I do
also,
agree with what you said earlier. How like this was never nothing to like call a wedding off about.
Yeah.
Like
it was never
like,
nothing.
first of all, because like you just said, being that if that's who he was, like she wouldn't have
She
brought
knew
him
who-
home in the first
Exactly.
place.
She
She
knew
knew
who
when
he
the brother
was.
pulled up and was like, "Oh, a white guy? Like you going on a date with
Right.
a
And
like
she lied to her dad
Yeah.
right there.
And then the
right
brother
there.
was like, and even like I said, the brother wasn't a white.
a white man?"
And then he
Like,
said,
yeah.
"Does Akbar know about that?"
Right, yeah, like
you
she wouldn't even brought
So
him
so
home.
she knew, but also she
But
also
sometimes,
but
though-
she was gonna go along with it anyway.
Anyways, yeah,
She was gonna do it regardless.
Yeah.
Sometimes though, I'm not even gonna lie. I don't know how it is playing the wedding. I don't, because I've never done that before, so I don't know. But sometimes, like, your family do get to you. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm not even gonna lie. Like, they do get to you like that.
Right, and you know,
And it do sometimes make you be like, you know what, man? If I just say,
And it doesn't
forget
even
it all,
it's
like,
not even supposed
I
to
don't
be
even gotta
like
worry
it's not
about
even, that's
either
not even the
side.
design of how it's supposed to be. Leave and cleave.
Exactly.
Leave and I'm cutting the ties here.
Right.
But the thing is, in real life, it doesn't even matter about race, right? You could have two black families at each other's necks because of
Oh, yeah,
a
that
lot
don't
of
matter.
Ever
different
seen Married at First Sight?
right? A lot of different dynamics, like
90 Day Fiance?
you know, like socioeconomic issues,
Right.
You know, like
It
oh,
could be more than just race.
class, right?
Right.
So it could this whole movie could have been made about
A
whole bunch of different
a
stuff.
black family from Beverly Hills
Right.
and a black family from
Right.
Crenshaw or wherever, Inglewood, whatever.
Right.
So like it could have been a whole black cast. So I wanted somebody to talk about that, make that movie, and it doesn't matter, right?
Right.
Like this is not necessarily about
That movie probably
race,
already out.
although that is an undertone of it. Like it's just coming together as two families is hard. Like a lot of different perspectives mashing together is
I'm
like
sorry, that sounds like a Tyler Perry movie. Hold
It is hard.
if that movie is not out, like I'm
I
pitching
think it is.
now.
It probably is
Like
somewhere out
that,
there.
though. Like for real, like about the black rich family and
Right.
and
marrying the this is a story about Romeo and
ATL. I mean, not ATL. Stumped the well, they ain't getting married, but stumped the yard.
Oh,
You know,
I
he
forgot
was from
ATL.
the gutter.
ATL was like
and
that,
She
yeah.
was ATL too.
Right,
She
right.
was from no. You always caught up with the bad guy. No, what you doing?
Right.
But,
Like
yeah.
so.
Nah, but family.
We're on the topic of relationship, right? So if you were getting married, right?
Mhm.
Are family squabbles worth, in your eyes, not marrying a person whom you truly love?
I'm gonna say that. Hold on, give me a second.
Well,
Your
It
family,
depends on the
or
squabble.
I got
if
you.
me squabbling with my future in-laws,
Then
definitely,
yes.
definitely.
But if it's our families fighting each other, bye, y'all don't gotta come. We go get married
yeah,
ourselves.
because how I think about it is like, you know, if I can't deal with you as my mother-in-law or as my father-in-law, I couldn't trust you as the grandparent to my
my kid,
children.
yeah.
I couldn't do it. Like if you want to be an active participant in their
I
lives,
wouldn't even trust
I wouldn't want
myself
that.
around you because I know how I am. Because I'm still, the Lord is still working on me. But my mouth get real crazy. So, and if I gotta call my mom, then
Right.
that's just that. So if it's me with another part of their family, it depends on the severity of the squabble and how like serious it is. 'Cause if it's something petty that,
Right.
all right, we just fighting right now, and we eventually get over it. But if it's something like really, really serious, then no, that is something that I have to think
Yeah.
about because
And if I said
that's
something
my whole
crazy-
life. It's till death do us part. Because when I get married, I'm only getting married one time, the Lord willing. That's till death do us part. So if I have to deal with that person till death do us part, I mean, you have to deal with your family
Right.
until death do us part. So if me and your mama or me and your daddy or whoever, your grandmama, is arguing before we get married, that means I'm going to have to deal with that for the rest of my life. Is that something that I want to put myself through? Absolutely not. No, when I get married, I want to be in bliss.
And a
But
lot
if
of-
it's something small and petty and I know we'll get over it, all right, we'll get over it. But if
you're
it's the
torturing
families
me,
arguing,
yeah.
now if somebody argue with my mama, I'm going to let y'all know right now I'm sitting behind my mom.
Now you want to know who has some resilience? I don't know if you've ever seen this movie.
I'm standing behind my mom. 10
Monster-in-Law. Jennifer
No,
Lopez
I
has
love
some
that movie.
resilience.
She said, we're going to hell looking like a hot dang taco.
And then she said, you know what?
She
I'm gonna
did.
fight you back.
Yeah, she did. I'm gonna fight
But
you back.
then her mother-in-law came along and said, now don't you act like you too far removed
Yeah.
from who she
If I
was.
her,
She said, when I met you,
ain't
you was
worth it. It ain't that much love in the world. I'll find somebody else to love
She
me.
said, when I met you, you was a weather girl drinking wine out of a box.
Yes. My mom loved that movie. Oh
I love Monster-in-Law. Now, she had some Brazilian, but she was like, you know what? Because it wasn't. It was just it was
strong,
her squabble with the mother-in-law.
I don't think so.
I don't think I'm that strong.
No, because if you're torturing me in my own home, like
but they were torturing each other back. It got.
She only started doing that.
Right, she only started
in retaliation.
right.
Yeah,
But
and
see,
I don't
that's
want
the
to have
thing.
to have that type
I'm not
of
about to
relationship with
torture you,
anybody.
girl. Meet me outside. Like, what's up? Because my hands work from 8 to 80. So what's up? Like, meet me outside. Like, I'm not about to go back and forth. Yeah, it's a movie, but some people really do go through these situations. Like,
Right.
I don't go back and forth with no.
And then they end up with depression and anxiety.
I ain't no prankster and no comedian, girl.
Okay, so maybe men are different because for me, I'm like,
I would have been dipped.
forget it. I'm like, it's whatever the squabble is, it'll be.
If he couldn't put his mama in check, but see, that be the problem with these mamas.
And that's the
boys.
difference.
Jonah Hill tried to.
These mamas.
No,
he put his mama in check.
He put his mama in.
Though
He did.
I just really
managed
don't
her.
agree.
Because remember when they first met, and the mom was like, "Oh, you're such a beautiful."
And he was like, "Yo, chill out."
He's like.
Yeah, but he didn't ever address it. He just was managing.
No, he told her
in
when
the
they
kitchen.
first met in the kitchen.
kitchen.
He told her. Now it was her decision to ignore what he said. He told her.
Right, in the
he
kitchen.
said, "You need to stop what you're doing."
Right.
And he was like, "Who do you talk about police brutality and Black Lives Matter?" Like he checked her. He did.
But if
No.
If he would have said like, what you're doing is because she's black.
He told
I
her
don't
that.
think so. I don't think it was clear.
Go back and watch. She got to go back and watch.
I'm gonna get copyright cleared. We're gonna show the clip next week.
He checked her in the kitchen. He told her everything you're saying, everything you're doing
Problematic.
is because it's problematic because she's black.
Right.
And he checked her in the kitchen.
He did check
Now
her.
it
All
was
right.
her decision to keep going.
Yeah.
Now I
Remember,
said
the father was out there playing ordinary people.
ordinary
on the
people,
TV,
yeah.
you know?
And the daughter was just looking like, "What's good?"
Oh,
with
and then
y'all?"
the
And
sister
she had her chair.
Sister.
He had her turn her
had
chair.
the
all
chair
way.
turned directly.
Right.
I was like,
and
okay.
so like he did check them. He
Right.
told them
Yeah.
off rip. Now it was up to their discretion whether or not to. So now it's like at that point it's like, how many times am I going to keep checking somebody about the same thing? That I get.
Right.
But and if that was me, bye.
Right.
I done told her already. We don't gotta deal with her. And that's what he's trying to tell her. Like, girl, we could just go and do what we gotta do. Like, that's how much I love you. Like, we don't even gotta include our feelings. But her being who she was and the family that she was raised in, every female wants their family to be involved on there. And I don't care. I ain't gonna say every female because there's some families out there that's crazy. But most females want their family involved on their wedding day. You know what I'm saying? Like your parents and stuff. So you want them involved. So she was like, no, I want your mom and your dad to be. But he was telling her throughout the movie, like, we don't have to do this wedding thing. Like, we could just go to the courthouse and just do whatever because that's how much I love you. I checked my mom. He told her, my mom is never going to change. Like, but he's like, I checked her. I told her. Now it's up to her discretion whether she wanted to or not. She didn't.
And then they ended up getting married.
But she never checked her father. Never checked her father.
Never. She never.
No,
they didn't write it into the movie.
No, she never. Nah, you can't ask one party to do something and the other party not. Whether it's black or white.
But keep in mind, the only person who ever stood up to Akbar, remember, was the brother.
Because Mama named you Woody.
No,
not
Akbar's
Woody.
brother. Lauren London's brother. Remember, every scene he was in, he always like, yo, you wildin'.
He was like, I'm gonna date whoever I want to date. Like, He
was like, oh, and then when they was at the smoothie shop, and he said, that's how me and your mama met. Through prayer. He said, no, you met mama at Pep Boys, returning a half a bottle of Fix a Flat.
That's a fact.
He was the only one who's like, our father is full of sugar honey iced tea.
Yeah.
Lauren, but you know what? You talk about mama's boy, being a daddy's girl.
Nah, chill out.
Oh, there we go. We didn't hit a soft spot now. You know what? And I love my sister. My sister Ashley to death. I love her to death. When my father was living, she was a daddy's girl. I mean, Took could do no wrong. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you a story. My father was catering her baby shower.
Get off the nipple.
He was late 2 hours, right?
I'm sorry.
And she said the whole time, "Oh, he coming. He ain't late. He ain't coming. He late. Like it's fine. Like we ain't even that hungry."
How old is she? Is she the baby?
No, I am.
No, I'm saying she the baby girl.
No.
She just loved her dad.
She loved her dad, and I love my sister. And I'm so and our father was amazing in his own way, right? But again, daddy's girls are. And so I think Lauren London was like, even when she said, "Oh, I want my imam to do it," and he said, "Okay, Miss Shakur, because my daddy wants it."
Right? Yeah.
He said,
in
you
the
had
outset.
bacon yesterday morning. How you Muslim all of a sudden? So, again, that's why I'm like, both parties were wrong in their own way. The movie did have a happy ending where they got married.
Yeah.
They did.
It didn't have to end that way because it could have happened 3 months prior to.
marriage.
It didn't.
I
It
like
didn't.
the
It didn't have to. 3
But
months.
mama and daddy had to come to some comprehension because it's not an understanding. But mama had to come to an understanding. I mean, a comprehension of that she will never be black, no matter how much she tries, no matter how much she tries to relate to her daughter-in-law. She will never be able to fully understand what it is to be a black woman. But she empathized with her, and she was like, I'm gonna try. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah, it's
So-
just like try to treat me like
try
a
to
human being.
instead of trying to treat me like I'm just black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And dad came to understand that even though I don't like this white boy,
He
you
loves
love
me.
my
He loves
daughter,
my daughter.
and you're gonna take care of her the way that I would take care of her. So I'm gonna push all my extraness aside to try to get to know you for who you are as a person, not who you are as a white Jewish man from Beverly
Now,
Hills.
I also want to say they moved hella fast in this movie.
Yeah,
It was
they
a
did.
movie. We don't really know.
No,
Right.
but hold on.
It was
my
a
man,
movie.
hold on. My man's proposed, and he was already on Zillow. The 2
Looking
scenes
for
later,
the crib. You
that
feel
stressed,
me?
that stressed the hell out of me.
He
You mean to
loved,
tell me
like-
I got down on one knee and all of a sudden I'm buying a house?
My
now?
boy was an accountant. He had bread saved.
Yeah, and
What
he
Meek Mill said, I got $1 million in a stash for a
it
wedding.
made sense for him. Like he's like, this is the woman I love. I
This
want
is
her to
what I
have
want.
everything.
Yeah. When you find
A
the
lot of
one,
men
I
don't really
mean,
understand that.
They don't,
You got to buy me a house,
baby, because I'm not moving
Today.
into your mama. Girl,
Where you about to go with that one?
I ain't about to, because I go there all day. I'm not moving into your mama crib. 'Cause
No,
they
and
still stay with their mama.
since we here,
Most of these men still, never mind.
and no man should be like, I'm willing to move into your spot either. If a
No,
man,
we need a fresh place together.
right?
If we're getting married, yes.
It's either together or we separate until we get married. There's
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Ain't no shacking up in this house. Nah, I'm playing. But no,
Rent
I'm
is
dead serious.
Rent is expensive, so we won't have
Sure,
to.
I'm dead serious. But no,
Talk about something.
if we're getting married, like I'm your fiance, we need a new house because this is who I was as a single person. This is who you
And
were
you
as
always
a
be like,
single
this is
person.
my
This is my
stuff.
space. This is my
Yeah.
stuff. No,
That's what I always
this
say.
is ours. When we get married, we gotta find us a crib, baby.
Don't ever give a person an opportunity to tell you it's theirs.
Ooh, because it could be yours and I could be out the door.
Let me tell you something.
Got a blast. That's my favorite thing. It's yours, and it is yours.
Right there, air horn.
Got a blast.
Let me tell you something. If you in an argument and a person pull out the chamber, the one thing you think they were never gonna say, get the out my house. Whoa.
I'm gone.
Bye.
That's it.
And let me get my
now
stuff.
I'm messed up.
You only gotta tell me
I'm
one
messed up
time
by
and I
even
will
giving
never
you the
come back.
opportunity to say that to me.
Yeah.
You won't never gotta.
This
come
is
back.
my place. I bought this.
Yep.
Yeah,
It was
no.
I did this for you.
Ooh.
You did, but like I'm the type of person. Ooh. Girl, I had to reel
I think
it
Tori
in.
is having some flashbacks
I had
to
to
situations.
I had to reel it in because that I did this for you because I'm the type of person that I do stuff out of my heart. I don't do stuff to get appraisal or to get a reward in return. Is it nice to be congratulated and to get a reward in return? Absolutely. Who wouldn't like to be thanked, for something that they did? But I don't do things just to, receive that in return. I just do it because that's just who I am. I'm a giver. That's just who I am as a natural person. Whether that's
give somebody the opportunity.
no, for real. Whether it's giving my time, giving a gift, like that's just who I naturally am. Like I'm just a natural giver. Like I've come to that understanding. But when they throw back that, but I did this for you, I'm not the type to be like, okay, but I did this because I could run down a list if I really wanted to. But I'm not the type. It only takes one time for somebody to say, I did this for you, and you will never have to do anything for me.
But that's how you know it wasn't love.
And I promise you, I don't care.
But that's also how you know it wasn't love because love doesn't keep score.
It don't. I don't care if you try. It could be the littlest thing. You could try. Oh, hey, I don't want to go to dinner with you because remember the last time you told me that you did this for me, so I don't want to even give you. No, I don't want
to give you the opportunity.
No, I don't want a birthday card. No, thank you. You keep the birthday card. I don't even want to have birthday from you. Like I'm that because remember the last time because now I'm about to remind you how you reminded me. every time. No, remember last time you told me that you did this for me, so
Right.
I'm good. I don't. You will never have to worry about me ever again. Once somebody say that,
It's over.
got a blast. You will never. I'm like thief in the night. Call me Inspector Jack and Gadget. You won't ever see me. I ghost. I will be gone.
So we're gonna end in this question. This is our last question.
Yeah, because
Is love enough?
No.
Hold on. Is
No for all situations.
in all situations?
Absolutely.
in all situations.
I'm about to pull out the
situation.
Christian. I'm about to
Okay,
pull out the Christian answer.
Okay, wait. It depends. No,
But the
not,
Lord thought love was enough for us.
not all situations. It depends on the severity. I can't say that.
That's
I
the
can't.
only situation.
Oh. I don't want to belabor the time because I will go there with you tonight. Oh, so you telling me the only time in humanity where love was enough?
When it come to Jesus.
Yeah, it's Jesus.
Oh no!
And how we
No.
love one another.
Because it come down to, because listen, okay, I'm gonna say
You know,
that.
I'll love you.
But if
that's
you don't
enough.
respect me, listen, if you don't respect me, you don't love me. So it depends on the severity. So
wasn't
I'm gonna
thinking
say
about
this.
that.
For me,
I was even going
Listen.
where you went to. Love is off the table if there's no respect. That's
right. That's what I'm saying. So sometimes love is not enough. That's what I'm saying.
But if they don't respect you, they don't love you. I'm saying there is love, but the brother is poor, or he's a,
Well, that's different.
or he's struggling, and
No.
or
'Cause-
are you hold on?
Struggling how?
Did you?
Cause no. Cause how many times?
Oh no! Did you not know?
I shook my head. Just because I love you doesn't mean I have
Put up
to
with
be
your
in
BS.
your
You shook it in a horizontal.
I mean, I gotta put up with your BS.
Do I mean, but like, if I am not in a financially
she said
struggling place, do I have to
Now, this
be
comes-
with you?
But you ain't taking care of me. He
This
just broke.
comes down to that question that I told you about earlier.
Right.
Do you have to be with somebody that matches your energy? And by energy, that's on all levels.
Like, are y'all equally yoked? I think that's
Yes.
Hold on.
Yes,
Now,
I do.
We going down this equally yoked section because
that's what I mean.
So
By energy.
I don't think that meant in terms of
that means in your faithfulness
yes,
Right.
faithfulness
to God.
Okay, yes.
Yeah,
And
so
I'm his child. So what's up?
I said,
I
are
was
we?
talking about
Yeah, I
resources.
said, are we financially on the same level?
Are we
Are we
emotionally on the same
right.
level?
Are we equally yoked?
physically? Are
saying
we
all of
mentally
it.
on the same level?
There will be times in relationship where
But listen-
financially you're not equally yoked.
Absolutely, and that's true. But I'm saying, in order for you to be with somebody, right? Starting off, you are gonna want to be with somebody that's on the same level as you. And don't lie to me and say you're not.
And if you're
Exactly.
not, it's because y'all
That's what I'm
got
saying.
together as
now,
kids.
when we get to that part of the relationship where I may not be on the same level mentally or spiritually as you, then that's when you come in as my helpmate because I trusted you enough because I know that you can take care of me the way that I take care of me or better than the way that I take care of me, that you can step in and do that. But if we start off and you already showing me signs that you can't do that,
So-
I'm not, no.
So is that only applied to the man doing that?
No, it applies to both parties.
I feel like it's one, but you have to be in like an established relationship,
Right.
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 This is not
Sure.
the beginning.
It's not
Right.
the beginning,
It's not
yeah.
the beginning. I feel like when you start talking about like, oh, did you leave him because he was broke or whatever? Well, if you got together with him when he was broke and now you're leaving
you
him
knew-
with him,
girl,
broke,
you
it
knew he was
doesn't
gonna be
that
broke.
doesn't make
Right.
sense, right?
Broke-
But what I'm
broke
saying
his
is
whole
like
life.
what you're saying is like, oh, if you guys have built this foundation
Oh, that's different
and
if we-
circumstances
Right, that's
change.
different.
Right. Okay, that's different.
Right.
If we built it together.
We're not talking
Right.
about circumstances changing. We're talking about the reality at the
Exactly.
onset of the relationship. And if your situation is that you are broke with no path out, do I have to
Just because I love
engage?
you? No, absolutely
I
not.
don't.
Why?
I
I'm
don't.
about to waste my money.
I don't have to do it.
So okay, let me.
So love ain't enough. I'm letting you know right now.
Love is not enough.
No, depending on the situation.
Right,
love is
because
not enough.
because the truth of the matter is the more time you spend with anyone, you're going to develop some sort of love for them.
Exactly.
Right?
Whether
So
it's
like
friendship or relationship.
Right. And like if you're dating someone and the more dates you go on, the more like intimate time that you spend together, you're
gonna
gonna
develop
you're gonna
feelings.
love them, right?
Okay.
But that doesn't change the fact that the reality of their circumstances might not be great for the foundation of a relationship.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so love in that case would not
That'd
be enough.
Would not be okay.
You heard what?
That's all I mean.
You heard what Kia said. You put your trust in. You fake yeah.
But I know a man who says that love is enough, and his name is Jesus Christ.
And
but hold on. Let me finish.
Mm-hmm.
I do love you from a distance.
Hold on.
And you know I'm all about love.
I love you from a distance.
I love
cool.
everybody.
That's cool.
I love everybody.
No, that's
I'm
fine.
trying to get to heaven, so I love everybody.
No,
That's not why I don't love just because I'm trying to get to heaven.
I love everybody.
I never said
I'm gonna tell you
never
something.
said that.
Love thy neighbor.
Because you saved, your ticket into heaven is cash. Okay, I'm
already know.
It's cash. You know, love is a bonus.
You wouldn't put me here if he ain't.
But I'm saying, but
It's 9 o'clock.
But we believe.
Yeah, my girl got to order her food.
And
It's over. They're not taking the orders anymore.
Dang.
but we believe in eternal security. Once you're saved, you always saved. With that being said,
I want to try it.
love is not enough in certain relationships, in certain aspects, which is fair.
Because you cheat on. We ain't going there.
You really open a lot of doors right now.
And I am. You want to talk about love? We can talk about love.
Next
I love
week
talking about
we'll
love.
be talking about love.
Valentine's Day is coming up.
Oh, that's a perfect
Valentine's
episode for
not,
next week.
Not Valentine's.
Valentine.
Valentine's Day is coming up.
What's the B stand for?
I don't know why people be saying. They be like, "Happy Valentine's Day." What's Valentine's Day?
Or Valentine's.
That's what I said. Valentine's, not Valentine's.
Yeah, that's next week's conversation.
We'll talk about love next week. We'll
That's
be
such a deep dive.
Word that comes and goes.
Yeah, we'll talk about relationships next week.
Why we gotta keep doing this?
We never had this.
We never had the
before.
conversation.
What we did was we drove here and said we can't do it, and we did not talk.
That's why in season 2 we're shooting for our word for the day: consistency.
Right, because we be in the building, but not in the room.
Exactly.
We can talk about it now because I'm over it. So
You're in a better place.
I am in a much better place. That sigh does not sound like my girl's in a better place.
Are you not in a place to talk about it?
Very hungry.
That untethered soul. Read the Untethered Soul.
So if
so good, isn't it? It's so
Untethered
good.
Soul is good. Good Boundaries and Goodbyes by
Be
Lisa
Just Soul
Turkhurst.
by Auntie Tab. That was good.
Yep.
Oh, that was
something.
Good Boundaries and Goodbyes by Lisa Turkhurst is good.
And goodbye as the segue.
Yeah.
to
Yep.
This.
Goodbye. Wait.
got a blast.
Got a blast.